This is the GJRB Online Network. You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming, and programming in other great music formats, like blues, urban, including rap, also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy. Well, staying home for Hello everyone, I'm Gary Russen. Welcome to a brand new addition to the GJRB family in the GJRB family of Gary Russen programs. This is the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. Hello everyone, hello everywhere across America and around the world from the GJRB Spreaker Studios just above the Lion Shopping District in Clinton, Iowa. Better late than ever, as I would say. People time. Welcome to the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. We got a great program lined up for you today. It's going to be really interesting. We're going to see what develops. Should be a really good day. I thought we were going to be off the air because of a storm, but it ain't doing nothing. So we're on the air. We're live. What's happening right now? Got some really good stuff coming up. We've opened that maybe perhaps in the second hour we should have maybe a guest or two. I want to try something, see what happens. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm hoping we get Ben Osman on in the second hour of our program. So if you'll join us there, we're going to talk about the coronavirus and all the stuff that goes with it. Other stuff, we'll talk about the news. We'll talk about that. We'll do a scroll through social media. Should be a fun show indeed, so stick with me. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, starts now on GJRB. Gary Russen on Skype, or just chat with Gary Russen on the GJRB Spreaker website by clicking the little icon on the GJRB widget. And now, the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. And man, hasn't this show just kind of really mutated into a Saturday thing? It has. It's been fabulous. Hello, everyone. Hello, everywhere. Glad you could join me this afternoon. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, with a slight delay, but you know what? It's people time on Saturday. It's freestyle. It's what's happening. I always have to start right on the hour. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I do start 6, maybe 7, 8 minutes after the hour and do a show that way. And just open up with a little monologue, talk a little bit, get things started, get things fired up, distribute the show. Oh, yeah, and by the way, last week when we did the show, I was on the GJRB Live envelope instead of the other one. I intentionally did it, but last week, so I had to recheck myself here because I made that mistake. And what I did was I didn't have it in the show schedule, the rundown of the program, the show itself, the Saturday Extra, which is today, March 28th, 2020. So what I had to do was I had to go into the show title and put that in there on my board, and then make sure that because we're heard on Spotify. Yeah, we're on Spotify, and we're also on Podchaser. Started on Podchaser. So I'm hoping we get some listeners here on Podchaser, as well as Spotify and other great places on the internet. Be distributing the show around, as I'm doing right now, getting things ready. And hoping that you'll be aboard today. I'm thinking we can get that guest in there, and hoping maybe Ben will show up today. He's been one of the many people who are being affected by this coronavirus shutdown, because he works for I know he's working for a sports bar of some kind. I'll ask him when he calls. Or somewhere other. So, a place of gathering, a place where there's people around. So I'm thinking that maybe perhaps he'll be able to join us today, because he'll probably be home. So I'm hoping that maybe we hear from him in the second hour of our program. We don't hear from him sooner. And if he doesn't, for some reason, like he did last week, sleep through the show, I think we'll have a standby waiting, and that'll be Ed Delgado. Maybe I'll try something, because I was thinking, I have the Facebook Messenger, which I should just open up my Facebook. I'm going to get that ready. I should go ahead and open my Facebook, because that's the only way the calls come in. I have to open up my Facebook page. So I'm doing that right now. Opening up my Facebook page. Also, let's see where else. I have my Skype opened. I got that really available here. So I got that ready. And you can get a hold of me on Skype. Gary.Russen. And I'm going to go ahead and post this stuff, this information. And I'll be able to let you know we're on Spotify, and now also on Google Podcast, and also on Podchaser, which is a fabulous page. It is. I was quite impressed by it. Not only that, they have a guest bank, which I love the idea. I love the idea, a guest bank. And I can probably get guests for this program, because I have otherwise been having nothing but dead shows. So I'm hoping maybe perhaps I'll get a guest on this program today. It'd be pretty cool if I did. I mean, this would be just plain awesome. Don't know though. We'll see what happens. Let's put it on the stove and see what cooks. That's the way I go, I said. So I'm hoping maybe we'll get there somewhere along the line, and maybe perhaps we can get a show fired up here on GJRB Online on Spreaker. So who knows? Things have happened. So let's see. Let's put it on on that stove and see if it boils. Alrighty. What do you think of the, fabulous yesterday? Wanted to thank all the people. My mother-in-law had a morale booster yesterday. Absolutely incredible. People parading, with this coronavirus, and she lives in assisted living in Moline. And a real nice little surprise, little parade in front of her window. Even a Elvis impersonator, absolutely incredible. It was a great a great display of care, and I want to say personally thank those people who were involved in that. It was absolutely incredible. video on my Facebook page. You'll see it if you get on my Facebook. Anybody, Facebook followers, Gary John Russen, you'll see that video. It's absolutely incredible yesterday. It really was. That was great. And let's see what other things we got. Let's see. We got a lot of really good stuff. So it's going to be fun. And also, and Ed Delgado had a great show on Tuesday. We just played it here on GJRB Online. And we're going to talk a lot about some of the things he talked about on that program on Tuesday. He had some really good points there, especially with the coronavirus, and that I'm going to start calling it COVID-19. But he called it Corona Universe, I think what it was. I thought that was a good idea. And I think it was, this is getting crazy. And when he called he had called to the show yesterday. And I said, the thing about it is, what is it with these kids and licking toilet seats? Or us going into Walmart and licking items. I mean, this is just plain stupid. I mean, what happened to the youth today? Are they just being rebellious? Are they just being stupid? Or what the deal is? I'll tell you one thing for sure. If my kid was involved in that, be grounded for a week. I can guarantee it. I wouldn't put up with that. I wouldn't put up with that garbage. No how. It would not be. No. It would not be. There would not be happening in my house. I won't put up with that stupidity. No way. I never heard of anything so stupid in all my life. I mean, licking items in Walmart. Especially deodorant. I think it was deodorant was one of them. It's like, come on now. What is the purpose of doing that? I mean, what brains did they give them? I'm telling you, I don't know. The youth are just they're just gone crazy. I just don't understand it. It really is nuts. Doing that. And of course, talk about some other things today here in Clinton, Iowa. Originally, I was kind of wondering. I'm keeping an eye on the weather, kind of wondering whether or not I was even be on today, because we were looking at the weather situation. There was a potential here in the Quad Cities for severe weather today. We're already under a tornado watch until 9 p.m. for pretty much the whole area. Pretty much the counties in Illinois, counties in Iowa are under the gun for a tornado watch. We already have flash flood watch going on, and I didn't think it was going to. Doesn't have to be. I mean, it seems to be too chilly to be having a tornado warning or tornado watch. I mean, this is watch 69, and it's north central Illinois, Bureau, Putnam, and northwest Illinois for Henry, Mercer, Rock Island, and Whiteside. West central Illinois, including Hancock, Henderson, McDonough, and Warren. And here in Iowa includes all 18 counties, including central Iowa, Benton, Iowa, Jones, Scott, Cedar, Jackson, Lynn, Clinton, Johnson, and Muscatine counties. And in southern Iowa, including Des Moines, Keokuk, Van Buren, Henry, Iowa, Lee, Washington, Jefferson, and Louisa counties. Pretty much a whole chunk of the whole area. Even includes northeast Missouri, including Clark and Scotland. It's like, really? I wouldn't think that it would be warm enough, because when I took the dog out today, it was 48 degrees when I got up today. 48. Okay, 48 degrees. I mean, that's not really exactly warm enough to be having a tornado watch. But maybe it doesn't have to be the temperature being warm. It's supposed to have gone up to 70 today, but I doubt it'll make it that high, although it's 61 right now. Excuse me, don't have my cough box on. I don't think I have one. I probably do, but I don't use it. Anyway, I really didn't think that we would get a tornado watch, but the relative humidity was 91%, and the barometric pressure was like under 29 point, what was it, 29, let's see if I can get that, because we'll do weather on the fives here in just a few minutes, but let's see, barometric pressure, if I can get back to that page. I'll jump back to that page here and see if I get that relative humidity. Relative humidity is 91%. The dew point's 58, so I guess that has something to do with relativity dew point, not necessarily temperature. The barometric pressure right now is at 29.51 inches of mercury, so that's kind of below 30. And I'm looking at a low pressure system just over our state right now for a significant threat for severe storms and tornadoes today and overnight. So I see that low pressure system just above our state and in Missouri. So we're under a major low pressure system. So I would think that would probably account for the fact that we're getting these tornado watches and tornado watch, because it's not really mainly the temperature, because I mean you can get tornadoes in November when temperatures are only maybe 45, maybe 55 degrees. So maybe perhaps in a case like that I would say maybe so. I mean, I'm not, I get into weather. I'm a weather fanatic. I love to follow weather. So, I mean, more than likely, you may be right. I may be right. I might just be a little off a little bit there, because if I studied weather in college, which I did, I don't think it has to do pretty much with the temperature, outside temperature, but the dew points and the probably the barometric pressure is part of it. If you look at it that way, it would make sense. Of course, it's cloudy. This morning when I woke up, it was foggy out. I mean, you could, just toward the south end of Clinton, there was a lot of fog, just over that area. I can see the nursing home across the street from us here, but it was foggy, and the distance of the fog, you could see the trees, but as you go further out, it was kind of the visibility was kind of low. But I'm looking at it right now, and the visibility right now is 9 miles. So it'll be an interesting weather today. And we'll keep track of your weather. We're going to do weather on the fives, just a little late for it, but let's do it anyway and take a look at what's going on here as far as the weather conditions are concerned. And let's see, we get that going here. Here we go. And I'll get the weather here for you because my alarm went off for me. Because I do laundry at the same time I'm doing my show, but my wife helps out. And so that makes it a lot easier. But here we go. Now nationwide weather update. This is GJRB's Weather on the Five. Okay, here it is. Significant severe weather outbreak is possible over portions of the what did I say before? Middle Mississippi Valley. And that's today. So we're like Middle Mississippi Valley, I guess. These threats include strong storms, tornadoes, a few which may be significant large to very large hail as well, and damaging winds. Elevated to critical weather conditions will continue over the high plains and also into Colorado New Mexico, and Texas this weekend. And we'll take a look at that weather and follow all that information with Weather Nation coming up next hour if we don't have a guest. But we're going to keep track of this weather situation here, both here in the Midwest. So if you're listening anywhere else, you're going to be hearing what our Midwest weather is like right now. And I'm going to be following a lot of that severe weather situation. If it does pick up, I'll be giving you that information. So if you're listening locally, you'll have something there to follow. I do have a cough box. All I have to do, if I feel like I'm going to cough, I'm going to turn down my microphone on the board. But anyway, that is our weather on the fives. Weather on the fives, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour. Or 25, I used to say 25 and 40, 25 and 55 past the hour, or any time in the hour that ends in 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, or 55 past the hour, right here on GJRB Online. Thanks a lot for tuning into the program. Hope you're enjoying the show wherever you're listening across America right now. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, here on Spreaker. And we're going to be doing a lot of really good stuff. So I hope you'll stay with me for the program. We're going to have a great time and chatting about what's going on in the news and stuff. So it's going to be a real good time. So why don't we check it out here and see what's doing here and see what's happening across the states and across the nation. Of course, we don't have to be all that much careful about the program today as we usually do. So let's just see what's happening here on our GJRB news desk and give you some of the stories that we're following. Some of the stories we're following in the GJRB news desk right now, and President Trump has signed that thing for the stimulus. Other interesting stories coming up include Trump, who's firing back against Michigan's governor. Democrat was saying she has no clue. It's just, there you go. And other stories we got coming up, we're going to follow throughout the afternoon. And we got some more interesting ones regarding the coronavirus. We'll be talking about that. Also, Iowa County stopped sharing the COVID virus confirmed cases updates. And let's see, Whiteside County, a lot of areas around here all on this coronavirus. And Trump signs that $2 trillion thing. So we'll talk about that all coming up next. I'll be right back. This is GJRB Online. You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming. And programming in other great music formats. Like blues, urban, including rap. Also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy. Recently, the owner of Facebook had to face Congress over personal information on Facebook users. In addition, users were saying that their postings were being deleted. Getting sick and tired of your censorship and your data being used without your permission? Do something about it now. Come to MeWe, the internet social site that values your freedom. No more deleted postings. Make a step to freedom. Sign up today. It's easy. Go to www.mewe.com. That's MEWE. MeWe, the internet's free speech social site. America's Street Music is back on GJRB, Bluegrass with the Grassgolds, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back, and on more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle, with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites, too. Now at a new time, every second Wednesday of the month at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 1 p.m. Pacific on the GJRB online network. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, where it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Recorded Thursday mornings and uploaded to go public at 12 o'clock noon Central and played every third Friday live at 1 p.m. Central on GJRB. You never know when GJRB is going to be on the air. More programming, more often, on the internet, on GJRB. Oh yeah, you know it. Back on the air. Get a little bit of that Wayne Whiteside thing going slow and easy. Yeah. Glad you could be back. Gary Russen program Saturday Extra on GJRB Online across America, on Spreaker, on Podbean. We'll flip that over as have some of your Podbean listeners listen to that on our other Podbean page there. And of course, you never know where you're going to hear it. Podchaser and on Spotify. So check out the show. I hope you'll stick around. Yeah. Always a good thing. And I've already have this show already going out to all my friends and all the groups. Spreaker Tavern, Meet the Spreakers, GJRB Online, and also send one to Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative, and Ben Osman. So we're doing that right now. I think I haven't done it to Ed yet. Oh, well, I'm going to get Ed in there. So I'm going to get, yeah. But I send it to friends' pages who would like to listen to the program. So if you're a friend of mine on the, on there, just let me know if you want to catch the program. And, we'll send it to you. Because Spreaker doesn't do it anymore. They don't automatically post my show anymore, so I have to do it myself. And I guess they say, well, you know, if we, I said, you know, if you can't do anything, do it yourself. Yeah. So I'm doing it myself, and I do better because then I can post it to anywhere in the ether that I want to. Can put this show anywhere so that people can listen to the program. I'm posting now over on my page over on Pinterest. So I'm on there, my main page on Pinterest. I'm there. So I got it over there as well. And later on we'll do MeWe. Gonna get MeWe in there. That's the free speech social site. So I usually just copy a link over there to those people and let them know that we're available. So I kind of post all around. Whenever I get a chance, I just kind of roll around here and post all kinds of places for listener participation and attention. Yeah, you know, I always say you need attention. Well, not always. It's just I want my program to be heard. So I'm just doing it everywhere that I possibly can. And we hope that you'll join me in the program today. I got my Skype open. That's Gary.Russen on Skype. All you got to do is get in your Skype. You have a Skype account? Just go where it says where that window is, where it says people, groups, and messages. Just type in Gary.Russen there, and it'll take you right in. And all you have to do is hit that call button. and it'll ring in the studio, and I'll put you on the air. If you don't want to do that, all you have to do is listen to me on Spreaker, and you can do that by getting to my on my Spreaker public site, www.spreaker.com/user/5120525. And, of course, you get the new page that Spreaker did. Now Spreaker got rid of they used to have, main page was always the most, the live stream. You'd see the live stream. Now, in order to get to that, when you get to my page, just go where it says Gary Russen Program Saturday Extra. Okay, when you get in there, just go to that where the program lineup is. Go down to where it says Gary Russen Program Saturday Extra. Click that. It'll take you, and then go all the way down, because I have all those shows in order from oldest to newest. Go all the way down to the end of the page, and click that. It'll take you right to my main page, and you'll see all my followers too, I think. I don't know. It just became complicated. I don't know why they did that. I quite frankly have no idea. They just did it the other day. On Thursday, I discovered it. And I said, what did they do? It's like my page looks different. What's up with this? Why is it the most recent podcast up there? Uh-oh. Anyway, why is my most recent page not up there? I mean, what's up with that? What did they do? It's like they just kind of they the page or something, and they decided to put my show. They decided to do something with the page. I don't know why Spreaker decided to do that, but they did. And now, in order for you to see it, you have to go through hoops to get to it. I hope that they should really change that back. Although I do like the fact that you see my schedule and all my programs that are on the air there. And I'm going to change a lot of the descriptions I have to do, because some things have changed since the last time I was, the descriptions. So I have to fix that. So I will probably be doing that in the foreseeable future. I'm working on the new project. Like I said before, I tried this new schedule in February. It didn't work out. I did a trial run. So I've got to, I'm doing a revamp on my radio schedule. And I'm going to be changing things around a little bit. So I'm going to do something different with that page. And I'm also working on my blog. I've been busy with other stuff and everything, so my blog is kind of on the banner, although I'm still working on it. It just needs some tweaking, and it's part of that in my schedule. So I'm kind of juggling between those two at this point. Okay, since I got that out of the way, let's see, we got, I'm going to go now to, let's see here now, I want to go into my news page. So I'm going to go back over to my news page here, and we'll start looking at some of the news that's going on. This is breaking right now, so I thought we'd do this one first. This is an interesting story. And then I got another story coming up about that Michigan governor and President Trump. That was interesting. He kind of got on her and something. So we're going to do something on that here in a minute. Meanwhile, though, while that's loading up, I have to do something here in a minute. Got to get my sound cord for my what the heck here? Jeez. Okay, once I can plug it in here into my audio jack. Okay. Here we go. Hospitals now have to make room for coronavirus patients by trying to treat people at home. So they're doing this. This is a story that we're going to start off with in our news. Maintenance workers convert hospital rooms to treat coronavirus patients in St. Mary's Hospital in Leonardo Town, Leonardo Town, Maryland, I believe, on March 24th. Rapidly filling hospitals there scramble to make room for the for coronavirus patients. Growing numbers. Providers are now experimenting with a new approach to free up beds, sending patients to receive hospital-level monitoring and care in their own homes. In Boston, Brigham and Women's Hospital is launching a program next week to send some coronavirus patients home with devices that allow doctors to monitor their oxygen level, heart rate remotely, a kind of close observation that typically requires hospitalization. Dr. David Levine, a physician and a researcher at the hospital, stated that it's going to empty our really important beds and slow the drain on personnel protective equipment. The remote monitoring program is also underway in Washington State to provide regional medical centers, which reported the first coronavirus cases in the United States. Under this program, the virus patients are then patients with respiratory problems or who require intensive care will still be hospitalized, but data from China and Italy indicate that the vast majority of these those hospitalized do not need intensive care. Levine stated that Brigham and Women's will use the algorithm to help select patients who will be able to report their conditions and symptoms to providers multiple times a day. So they're using, again, technology to fit this into their, schedule. That's not a bad idea. They state that they want to see if they can, they have the beds and all that good stuff, and they just want to, I think it's a good idea, actually. They want to set aside the beds so that other people who need it, especially those who may be, heart attack victims, cancer victims, whatever, will still have places to go. A person has a heart attack, where do they put them? In the hallway, whatever. Kind of wonder, because, you go back to the 1950s and the 1960s, what did they used to have? Yeah. Remember when, apparently, my mother told me this story. A long time ago, doctors used to make house calls. Watch old episodes of, let's see, what's that one show? Donna Reed. There's a couple of other programs that depict this, including that one episode of Dennis the Menace where Mr. Wilson's sick. Doctors would come into the home. But they're not going to do that now, of course, because of the coronavirus outbreak. Doctors won't be doing that, but they're going to use technology, which is kind of the 21st century version of home visits from doctors, which, that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? But anyhow, this is what they're doing in Maryland. Brigham and Women's in New York City's Mount Sinai Health Center systems are also expanding more intensive hospitals at home programs, which then set patients up in their residence with IV drips, oxygen tanks, and sensors that send vital signs directly to the clinics and the hospitals, with in-person visits twice a day from nurses and daily check-ins with the doctor. So doctors would make a visit them. All patients then must live within a short distance from the hospital, though, in case they urgently need a visit from the nurse or a paramedic or be readmitted. So it's basically just to use that as a means to have the doctors monitor in the hospital, but the person's at home. Again, safety reasons there, I'm sure. And, right now, the thought of even going to the hospital would concern me because of this virus outbreak, because, you're going to get more germs in a hospital than you do in a, at home. And I don't care how they disinfect everything. There's a lot of that in the hospital. Come on now. Really think about that. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm going to go to another interesting story here. This is interesting here, and then we'll have a couple of other ones. President Trump has fired back at Michigan's Whitmer, claiming the Democratic governor doesn't have a clue. President Trump stating in a tweet, he took on aim at Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer on Friday night, claiming on Twitter messages that the Democrat was way over her head amid the coronavirus outbreak and doesn't have a clue. As of late Friday, Michigan and more than 2,200 confirmed cases of the virus, ranking 5th in the nation, has seen at least 43 deaths. On Friday, President Trump approved a disaster declaration for the state, ordering federal assistance and support state and local efforts. He stated, quote, "I love Michigan, and the reason we are doing such a great job with them is during this horrible pandemic," President wrote. "Yet your Governor Gretchen Whitmer is way over her head, and she doesn't have a clue, and likes blaming everyone for her own ineptitude." So this is what he said in a tweet. The Twitter message then followed Whitmer's accusations Friday that the medical supply vendors are being told not to send stuff here in Michigan, and her her insinuation that the alleged orders were coming from the Trump administration. So he just says that she's way over her head, she doesn't know what she's doing. Earlier, Trump told reporters during a White House news briefing that he advised the Vice President Mike Pence, leader of the president's coronavirus task force. I'm going to talk about that later. A lot of people are saying on Facebook, and I think I kind of agree with this. We're talking about the order of being social distancing. Okay, social distancing. What about the president and all this so-called task force? They're all together. How many are there standing on stage? I mean, come on now. Let's talk about social distancing here. Hypocrite? That could be the word. Anyway, why are all these people on stage? Anyway, against communicating with Whitmer, claiming that she was among the small group of governors being appreciated by President Trump. Listen to this. Okay, it should be playing. Okay, come on now. Be nice. Okay, I had that set up and ready to go. He's going to talk about the governors here. Okay. It's not going to play. You booger. Let's try it this way. Okay, let's see. Okay, I had that set up and ready to go, and darn the of it if I can't get to it. Basically talked about how good the hospitals are doing and everything, and not getting anywhere with this. Let's try it now. No, you come on. You stinking booger. Okay, let's see if we can get this to go. Might have to refresh this page, I think, because for some apparent reason the video won't play. And I had that set up. Okay, it's going to go into Facebook. Alright, well, I'll play that later. Basically, let's see if it works now. See, it did a refresh. Okay, it's gonna have me send the video. Okay, so that's not gonna work. Okay, well, we're gonna have to exclude this story until I get that that page refreshed, and able to play it for you. Otherwise, we'll go on to another story. We're heading into weather on the 5s anyway, so I'll try to play that soundbite next hour if I have time, or if I don't have a guest in the next hour. But we'll try to get that in. Otherwise, tonight you're listening to the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. Send it all the way down the line. Hope we get some listeners and people in the chat room. Again, you're welcome to join me in the chat room. Later on next hour, we'll try to get a birthday in. We have 2 birthdays on my Facebook page that we're going to announce. And I need to get the the celebrity birthdays up. So I'm going to do another search on that. I got to get a site that will give me celebrity birthdays whenever I need it right off the bat for a certain date. So I'm going to do a real quick search here while I got the chance, and do that so we get that ready for next hour. And let's see here, celebrity birthdays. Okay, for today, March 28th. Okay. All right, March 28th. And then we'll get that ready for next hour. Get the March 28th birthdays, and we'll do that next hour. But anyway, if we don't have Ben in there or anybody else in the next hour, I already sent this show to Ben. I thought maybe that would be effective. I sent this show over to Ed Delgado and a few other people that I thought would be interested in listening to this. So if you are a Facebook follower and you got my show, I hope you listen, hope you tune in, hope you click that icon. If you're listening on Twitter, I'm the Radio Maniac. Just go into Twitter, it'll take you right to my page, and of course you can listen. You can listen right on Twitter. The stream's right there, and just click in. It'll take you right into my chat room area, and you can say hi there. And talk about this, and if you don't want to get on the radio. Otherwise, just call up the program via the Skype. I'm Gary.Russen there, or on Twitter, or rather on, if you're a Facebook follower and friend, you can call via the messenger by hitting the phone icon. Okay? All right, now nationwide weather update. This is GJRB's weather on the 5. Again, we here in the local area, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for the whole area until 9 p.m. tonight. 63 degrees in Clinton, Iowa right now. Feels like that. 63 feels like it. And we have strong thunderstorms, likely damaging winds, large hail, and possible tornadoes with some strong winds and a high of 64 today, which I don't think would be warm enough, but again, do I know my weather? 70% chance of precipitation. We have winds now out of the southwest at 5 miles per hour, gusting to 8 miles per hour. Let's pop this in and see what some of the national temperatures are, and see what's going on here. I'm going to pop that in there real quick. Let's see. Takes a while for it to load up, so we'll do the best we can there. Otherwise, we'll do national temperatures when we go into Weather Nation. Again, if Ben doesn't come on. If Ben does come on, as I told you before, I forfeit the weather on the 5s and a hard break at the bottom of the hour if we have a guest, because, again, I am like that, okay? I'm like that. I always do that because, I'm not like these big stations that say, hold, wait a minute. Got to go to the hard break. I'm up against a hard break. I go right past it because the guest is more important. And, of course, like I said before, I'm just a public outfit. I don't get paid to run these promos. I run them because I run them. Anyway, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Let's take a look at some temperatures across the land here real quick here, real 30-second check. Los Angeles, California, 67 degrees with sunshine right now. Des Moines is in the same shape we are. 62 degrees, 67 in Los Angeles, 78 degrees in Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Mateo, North Carolina, 76 degrees right now, and Dallas, Texas, checking in 76 and fair. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 55 past the hour, anytime in the hour that ends in 5. Weather on the 5s right here on GJRB. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Recorded Thursday mornings and uploaded to Go Public at 12 o'clock noon Central and played every third Friday live at 1 p.m. Central on GJRB. Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them, help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. Your call will be answered by a trained counselor in a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else. Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
And this is the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra on GJRB Online here on a Saturday afternoon. And, it's a popular program here on a Saturday afternoon here. A lot of people like it. Ed Delgado, Caramel Conservative, and a lot of other great people who just kind of happen to tune in on Saturday and talk about what's going on in the news or just kind of kick back a little bit. And if we don't get a guest, usually what happens is I just kind of have a little bit of fun. 50 minutes of nonstop talking music, play some music. It's just fabulous. It just really is. It's 4 o'clock right now, Central Daylight Time. 4 o'clock right now, 5 o'clock Eastern, and 2 o'clock Pacific. And you're listening to the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra right here. From America's Heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa. And welcome to the second hour of the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, here on GJRB Online. This hour, let's see what happens. Should be very interesting. Let's see if we get some guests in the studio. Why do I always say that? In the Spreaker ether, out from out there in the internet, the internet phone, the internet phone, Skype Gary.Russen, and Facebook friends and followers can just call me by hitting the call button on the messenger call symbol there. Just hit the button and it'll ring in the studio, and I'll put you. Otherwise, if you don't want your voice on the air, just chat with me in the Spreaker chat room. It's just all a lot of fun and stuff here on Saturday afternoon. Just kicking back and talking about anything you're welcome to. And I hope that maybe you have some interesting stuff to talk about and want to call on the program. You're welcome to do so. And I always welcome a lot of people on our line here to talk about the news and what's happening around the world. Because it's getting interesting. We're talking about the coronavirus, or I've been saying coronavirus or whatever, coronavirus or COVID-19. and talking a lot about some of the stuff that's happening with it. We've been following the news there, and been doing something interesting better because I like this idea. I have my wife's old phone key to my Facebook, and I have my normal phone, and I also have my tablet. I cleaned that today. Don't know if it'll work, but I cleaned it. Okay, so maybe I'll have something there. And I did some other things, so kind of go down the page here, and we'll do a scroll through social media. Why don't we do that while we wait and see if we get a call in there? So let's do that.
Let's scroll through social media.
That means going through Facebook, Twitter, and of course MeWe and other of these social sites on the internet, and find out what people are posting, and news items from all my sources, like CBN News, where Mark Hemrick, a senior economic analyst at the Bankrate, appeared on a Friday edition of CBN's News, which I haven't really watched yet, a show called Faith Nation, to discuss the present state of the economy. That's an interesting one. Okay, we're going to go down here. I'm going to flip over here. President Trump arrived in Norfolk, Virginia today to see off the USNS Comfort Hospital. It's a hospital ship, as it heads to New York in aid of the COVID-19 crisis. This is an interesting story from CBN News here. Says this goes up. Does it goes up? Yeah, I think it'll go up. Find out here in a minute. It's a way to do its pokey stuff. Let's see. While it's doing that, I want to remind you that we'll be on the air maybe tomorrow too. Posting, I'll let you know. I'll let you know about that later on when we do our schedule. But possibility of being on tomorrow too. My wife and I planning something. Anyway, President Trump arrived in Norfolk, Virginia on Saturday to see off the USNS Comfort Hospital ship, which heads to New York to aid the COVID-19 crisis. The President referred to COVID-19 pandemic as the invisible enemy and has brought global hardship and much death. Heading into the great state of Virginia now, and will be there shortly. He's USNS Comfort, loaded to the gills at the Naval Station in Norfolk, departing New York City this afternoon. President Trump, medical personnel on board the USNS Comfort includes more than 1,200 doctors, nurses, and anesthesiologists, x-ray technicians, and orderlies, all heading to the metropolitan area of New York to assist hospitals in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The ship is due to arrive in New York City on Tuesday and will be used for people on with the virus, simply to ease the burden placed on local hospitals. Captain Patrick, let me see if I can pronounce that, Amersbach, commanding officer of the USNS Comfort, told CBN News that prior to the ship's deployment in New York City, medical hospital personnel was notified to report to the ship for their next mission. The first, he goes on to say, quote, "The first responsibility is to notify our headquarters to start supplying the medical profession and others that need to be aboard to carry out the mission." And order went out then to be started receiving those professionals over the last couple of days, and we want from our personnel on board to over 1,100, and the ship was then activated. So Amersbach said the Comfort is capable of serving patients with various medical needs. So this is a great thing. There are the hospital is doing this. They're having these ship come in with it's hailing outside. Oh, this is interesting. What the heck? Look at this. I'm looking at it right now. There's a small hail going on outside our studios right now. It is hailing lightly. Wow. Okay. Anyway, with that, New York will be taking care of COVID-19 patients to relieve them the strain of the local healthcare system. So they're helping in the COVID-19 with the overflow, which I think that's a good thing, and making sure that everybody's taken care of. So that's a good thing. It's a naval ship. The Navy is helping with this. Saturday morning, this morning, President Trump tweeted, I'm giving the consideration to the quarantine of developing hotspots, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, a decision that to be made one way or the other shortly. And that's what he tweeted. The president briefly discussed the 2.2 economic aid package that had signed into law yesterday. The aid comes from U.S. now leads the world in more than 100,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19, resulting in 1,500 deaths. And this hour, the question is, are you one of those that's going to be receiving the stimulus? So if there's anybody listening, want to call in or join me in the chat room, are you among the many who will be receiving the stimulus, and what are you intending on doing with it? So that could be a question we're going to do this hour here on the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. Gary.Russen on Skype, on Twitter. You can catch us on Twitter and give me a message there. I'm going to go to Twitter here in a few minutes in our scroll. So just hang in there. And I will see if we have any answers in the Twitter page. And I'll see if we can even post something on my Facebook in just a little bit, too. Just on both sides, Gary, John, and that. So we'll do that coming up. You're listening to the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra on GJRB Online. You're welcome to be a part of the program and join in the show. And in between that, on our Saturday afternoon, we kind of break the monotony a little bit, play some music, from our GJRB playlist, and dig out some of the, music that we play here on GJRB. And I do that to kind of break the monotony of consistent conversation here, because it's a Saturday program. It's a Saturday Extra, so it's kind of a light show, and it's an open show. It's open. It's like yesterday's show, freestyle, open lines, open phones. Anything can happen kind of show. We leave it up to you on a weekend, and no log, no nothing. We just fly off the handle here, so to speak, and just have some fun and do a program. That's what makes it fun, doing this show. And you can be part of the program, so stop in. Love to hear from you today here on the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. So drop in the line and give us a call here on GJRB Online across America. And this is where it's happening, man. You know what I'm saying? So, come on in and say hi while you got the chance. You know what I'm saying? All right. So as I say, this song's about appropriate for this time of day. Please tell me the truth. Good friend of mine, Gary Younger, and his band called Song Brother on GJRB.
Tell me
It's the truth, too. Jesus changes everything. And if you pray and, give thanks to the Lord for, the things that we do have, the things that that we at least have during this crisis, we can get through it. And He can change everything. He can make it so that this virus goes away. We need to pray. We continue to pray here in America that we bring Jesus back into this country. Because I got to tell you something, folks. We need Him desperately during this time. And He will change everything when you pray. And you bring the Lord into it. He will. It's definite. All right, well, I was hoping that maybe we'd hear from Ben, but I went on his messenger and there's no green light on it, so I don't know what's going on. And I'm hoping maybe Ed Delgado's out in the ether somewhere, so I hope maybe he'll call in and we'll see if we can get somebody on today. Meanwhile, we're going to want to bid a happy birthday. So why don't we do some birthdays right now? Let's do that. Yeah, happy birthday to Jim Murphy. Big happy birthday to Jim Murphy. Happy birthday, Jim. And also a big happy birthday goes out to Steve Sturbaum. He's a good friend of mine in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. Went to school with him in broadcasting school at the Ohio School of Broadcasting in Cleveland, Ohio in 1983. And a good friend of mine indeed. So happy birthday to both of them, Jim Murphy and Steve Sturbaum from GJRB Online. You're celebrating your birthday with Alexandria Billings. And actually, Alexandria Billings was on TV's Transplant, 58. And let's see, who else do we have here? Bert Connor, Olympic gold medalist. Bert Connor, 62. Let's see, what else we have here? Conchita Farrell, actress, 77 today. Rock musician Dave, Kooning, rock musician, 44. Diana West, Julia Stiles, and Lady Gaga all celebrating their birthday today. And that's who you're celebrating your birthday with. And if you have a birthday that you wanted to, if you have a birthday and you want announced and recognized on one of my shows, and your birthday happens to fall on my show, which usually happens on just about every day, we'll put it on the air. Just drop me at GaryJ65@yahoo.com, GaryJ021361@gmail.com, and we'll do that, okay? And make it so that we make it so that you can have your birthday acknowledged. If you're a friend on Facebook and you want to have we'll do it that way too. Just all you have to do is
virus relief bill. Here we go.
Let's see. Okay, we got a story coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Before, if you want you want your birthday announced on the radio, just do that. And I'll air and tell you what stars are celebrating your birthday with. So I do that all the time here on GJRB Online. So if you're celebrating your birthday, just do that. It's GaryJ021361@gmail.com, or just visit my page on Twitter. I am the Radio Maniac, and we're going to go there in just a little bit. And check that out. So we're going to do that. But meanwhile, back at the jungle, I just saw this story pop up on the bottom of my screen, and we'll have that coming up for you in just a little bit about Connecticut coronavirus update. So we're going to do one of those here in just a little bit. But meanwhile, back at the jungle, I didn't do this yet, but we're going to do it real quick because it's 20 minutes after 4 o'clock Central Time here on GJRB Online, and you're listening to the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, here on Spreaker. And I, like I said before, don't know. I'm not going to depend on him calling anymore, Ben, because he, it's just that it. If he calls, fine. If not, let's see what we can do. We might just happen to, fill space. So we'll do that right here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. Oh, yeah. I did not want that. Darn nabbit. And I missed the temperatures. So we'll do that in 30 minutes. We'll do another weather on the 5s in 30 minutes with temperatures. But let's go to the Weather Nation. Oh, look at that booger. Look at that booger. Okay, I'm going to have to skip that because we should really concentrate on the Midwest. I'm looking at a red dot just on the northwest corner of Iowa, on the border of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Wisconsin. There is a heavy line of storms there. And there's another a stretch of weather there around Arkansas, from Missouri through Arkansas down to Dallas. So we're going to keep a look at that. Also, some heavy rain in there around, looks like Indiana, in that area. So it's stretching all the way east. But the heaviest one is around northwest Iowa, on the border of South Dakota and Nebraska. There is some heavy precipitation in that area, and we'll take a look at that here in just a few minutes. But let's see, what the heck? Why am I not getting what I want out of this Weather Nation? Okay, I'm going to try it again. This app always acts up. So sometimes what I'm going to do, if it acts up, we won't do weather on the 5s with Weather Nation. I will click out of that and we'll do it next hour. But I'm just following and paying attention actually to what's going on in the weather at hand here. Let me see if I can get that Weather Nation back. Because it's done that to me before, and I have had to reboot the box in order to get it back. So I'll just have to join in progress Weather Nation and see if they're doing anything about our Midwest weather, because that's the most important thing we want to concentrate on right now at this point with the weather. So we're going to go now to the Viper weather, which is going on right now. Weather Nation, here it is, Weather Nation. And we're going to see if we can get this. A tornado watch out for this area. I'm going to see why I'm not getting this going on here. Hang on a second.
Tornadoes that determine if a thunderstorm is to be called severe or not.
The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning.
When the National Weather Service issues a severe thunderstorm warning, they expect to produce winds of 58 miles an hour or higher, and/or hail 1 inch or larger, and/or with the potential for spawning tornadoes. If warranted because of a radar indicated or witnessed funnel cloud or tornado on the ground, they'll also issue a tornado warning to replace the active severe thunderstorm warning. Wind and 1 inch hail criteria were chosen to classify a severe thunderstorm because they are both of a magnitude to create damage to property and a threat to personal safety. And even without tornadoes, severe thunderstorms can cause massive damage very long path. Straight line winds can be powerful, and large-scale wind events called derechos can spread hurricane force, widespread destruction over hundreds of miles, and affect millions of people. An important phrase to remember with any thunderstorm is, when thunder roars, go indoors. Whoa! If a severe thunderstorm warning is issued for your area, get into a sturdy building and stay away from windows. Wind-driven debris and large hail can break windows and create a shower of glass you don't want to be in. For Weather Nation, I'm John Van Pelt.
John, we appreciate your advice. Lots of great ways to keep you and your family safe. And you'll notice wide-reaching severe weather watch boxes. Tornado watch for parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Illinois, up into Iowa, and a severe thunderstorm watch across Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Looking at the setup again, we've got the moderate risk for severe storms, perhaps our most significant area of concern, but anywhere highlighted, as we've already seen with Viper radar, has had some severe weather. Looking at the forecast for the upper Midwest, portions of the Chicagoland area. Again, these supercell thunderstorms will likely continue to fire up into the evening hours and continue after dark. And we'll likely see that severe weather threat continue, perhaps closer to midnight even, into pockets of Indiana before winding on down. Now down towards the southern side of things, you'll notice, again, these thunderstorms continuing across Arkansas, eventually spreading eastward across portions of Tennessee, Kentucky, down into Louisiana, eventually into Mississippi through the course of this evening and into tonight. Pretty nasty looking line here as it spreads eastward.
More than likely we'll be getting some of that.
Things. We've had several inches of accumulation out towards the Great Plains region, and now the upper Midwest up into Minnesota and Wisconsin, likely to see the brunt of this system. We've got winter storm warnings just south of Duluth into Superior, Wisconsin, 3 to 6 more. Our model still painting the potential for maybe 6, 7, 8 inches in a few spots here around the Arrowhead of Minnesota, the western shores of Lake Superior. And again, this is part of the same storm system as we take a peek here at the system developing and pushing eastward through the day. We want to take our turn back to Viper Doppler radar. And again, David, we have that tornado warning ongoing near Jones.
It's confirmed now, by the way. We've had it observed by law enforcement officials, but also the radar is included here as well. As Craig Arkansas, just to the east of Newport, south and west of Jonesboro. I can show you the Little Rock radar has a very distinctive inbound-outbound, but also what we call a marker of CC. The correlation coefficient shows up very well here on both the radar out of Memphis and the radar out of Little Rock, and that is the anomaly that shows up. You got a lot of red, but the anomaly is the green, and the yellow showing up there, meaning there is some debris aloft. Again, the velocity data coming out of Memphis is a lot stronger here, but there is a distinct couplet just south of the town of Grubbs that is moving on eastward. Craighead and Poinsett counties, you're underneath the tornado warning with a damaging tornado likely there near Algoa, and moving northward and eastward just to the south of the town of Grubbs and north of Fishers, south of Cache, still included there as well. Now that's the area that we were suspect about through the day today that we've been talking about for so long. There remains a threat for strong thunderstorms into the rest of this evening all across this area.
Around here.
Okay, there you go. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 55 minutes past the hour, every hour here on GJRB Online. And that's a look at the weather on the 5s nationwide with Weather on the 5s from Weather Nation. And, of course, we had to cut in there late because it was giving me some, that app is giving me trouble sometimes. Weather Nation, they're fabulous, though. I love them. Weather Nation. Weather on the 5s next time round will be sometime after we get done, because I just got a hold of our good friend Ben Osman, and he will be joining us real soon. But I'm going to take a hard break, and then when we come back on the other side, 50 minutes of continuous, non-stop talk coming up. Stand by on GJRB Online, Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. This is the GJRB Online Network. Watch. Pray. For we not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy. New World Order. Terrorism. Economic collapse, wars, pest, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. End time headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org. Recently, the owner of Facebook had to face Congress over personal information on Facebook users. In addition, users were saying that their postings were being deleted. Getting sick and tired of your censorship and your data being used without your permission? Do something about it now. Come to MeWe, the internet social site that values your freedom. No more deleted postings. Make a step to freedom. Sign up today. It's easy. Go to www.MeWe.com. That's M-E-W-E. MeWe, the internet's free speech social site.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Recorded Thursday mornings and uploaded to go public at 12 o'clock noon Central and played every third Friday live at 1 p.m. Central on GJRB.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, a website totally devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music, check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online is up and coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB Online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else. Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Oops, played the happy birthday again by mistake. That's what I do sometimes. Anyway, welcome back. The Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra on GJRB Online is on the air. Hope you're trying to stick with me as we crank up 50 minutes of non-stop talk and music here on GJRB Online. And I just talked to Ben, and I'm hoping to maybe get in contact with him. We're going to do that right now as we begin the 50 minutes total non-stop talk and music here on GJRB Online. And that means we go completely non-stop, no promo breaks on the RID possibly, but other than that, it's straight through, complete non-stop talk here on GJRB Online. And I think that worked, sending Ben my show so he knows I was on the air. Maybe I should have done that last week. You know, would have made more sense. But anyway, we're back on the air here, and I hope you'll stay with me. We got a great show lined up here for you here on GJRB Online, and I'm going to try and call him right now. We're going to call Ben Usman right now and give him a line here, and we're going to do that and see if he's out there and ready to go on. Let's see. If not, we will wait and see if he'll call us. But we're going to call him right now. And while it's ringing, I want to remind you that coming up next hour here on GJRB Online, we'll do our program schedule and give you what's happening on our Spreaker and see what's happening around the world and do some more news updates and let you know what's happening tomorrow on GJRB Online. So stay with me. Gary Russen program Saturday Extra every Saturday now here on GJRB Online, just because it's become popular. And I'm hoping maybe we get Ed Delgado here pretty soon in the line, because I sent him a show too. Oh yeah, let's see, we got somebody in the chat room right now. Hey, the Caramel Conservative is here. All right, hey, good afternoon, brother. Yeah, taking a quick break to check in. Busy day. I'm supposed to be off. Yeah, you were supposed to be off. Unfortunately, something happened. You had to be on, huh? Yeah, I can understand that. So, stay with me. I'm ringing Ben Osman, and hoping that maybe he is on the line here. He might join us for about 45 minutes or so, which isn't bad. It's 45 of our 50 minutes of nonstop talk. No answer, so we'll see what happens again. I rang him, so maybe he'll ring back. Meanwhile, we got some more interesting stories that I want to bring about. I was going to play that audio track, and I'm hoping maybe perhaps I'll find it. I don't know exactly where it's at. I know I had that track here. I'm going to go down to the to my news break headlines where I had that. I want to see if that story is back in there. The other one that I was talking about before, the stimulus thing. Oh, while I do that, speaking of stimulus, let's see what we got here. I have a story here that the checks are coming. President Trump signed the $2 trillion stimulus plan.
And I must say, or any other package, by the way. It's twice as large as any relief ever signed. It's $2.2 billion, but it actually goes up to $6.2 potentially trillion dollars. So you're talking about a $6.2 trillion bill. Nothing like that. And this will deliver urgently needed relief to our nation's families, workers, and businesses. And that's what this is all about. And it got a 96-0. And I don't know, what was the number in Congress? What was the voice was fantastic. Just as close.
There you go. So they has signed it. It's official. And what do you think about that this hour? Also, the big question this hour. I have a question of the hour. I used to do this when I first started this show, and no one really responded to it, but I did it anyway. And today's question is, when you receive the stimulus, what will you do with it? What your plans are. At least, tell us what. Yeah, none of my business, I understand. But what would you do with it? I'm sure a lot of people are going to buy stuff. But, my wife made a point just before I went on the air. It made a lot of sense. How can you spend the stimulus when you can't go anywhere? Just somehow, I don't know, unless you kind of use the old, I like that one. It goes, I think I was slick trying to do a daily show with a story here and there. I closed out so many tabs and got down to 16 open over the last 48, and I'm right now right back up to 30. Wow, so 30-something tabs. Doesn't it slow your computer down? I think it does, doesn't it? It's way. I'm going to have to do another show, long format tomorrow, probably. Oh wow! My wife and I are planning on doing something tomorrow too. Talking about doing a show together. We were talking about a kind of a Christian message, kind of get away from this whole coronavirus thing, and talk about God. Talk about we need to trust Jesus Christ because He is. He'll take this away. I just believe it. Invest in disruptive stocks. Buy low and hold most people. Let's try that again. Invest in disruptive stocks. Buy low and hold most people need to buy provisions for 3 weeks of potential lockdown. I had the tabs on my phone, so it's not so bad. Oh, well, yeah, there you go. I do that too, come to think of it. Now, here's what I'm doing. I have 3 devices now. See, my wife just got a new smartphone. Okay, so I have her old one, which has a cracked screen on it. Okay, but I still use it because I have the internet still on there. And then I have my old tablet, which I had just cleaned yesterday. And then I have my phone. So I have 3 devices. I can put 3 different stories on 3 devices, which is kind of cool for now. But I think some of that's going to be spent here trying to get ink for my printer, because I would love to be able to print out my stories again, because it's hard to do it with a phone sometimes, especially when one of my phones is possessed. I sincerely believe it, because we'll sit there and I'll have it there and I'm looking at it going, that changed screens and I didn't touch it. And anyway, it does. I look at it and go, wait a minute, I did not go there. How the heck did that go there? I didn't even have my finger on it. It's like, what the heck? Anyway, yeah. So it should be quite interesting. Everyone is buying all the wrong stuff. They need water, first aid equipment, first aid instructional books, and non-perishables. Anything else is waste. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. But being that I have a radio station here, and I do like to have my stories in front of me, I want my printer ink. I need it. Anyway, let's see, what was I going to say? Yeah, I do. I need my printer ink. But yeah, perishables, important stuff, food, different things like that. But do you really think that we're going to be, or do you think we're going to be quarantined then? Still? I mean, I thought maybe. Now, did you hear that when I was just playing? President Trump just signed that stimulus bill thing. And I just did a story about an hour ago, and I think that this is interesting because I said this. Remember back in was it in the 1950s or was it the 1960s, or could it go back into the 40s, when doctors made house calls? Remember that? I'm wondering if that would go back to that, because that's the way it's looking in New York. Right now, New York, President Trump apparently was going to be going to greet the U.S. Navy, because they have a ship coming in. It's going to take the weight off people in New York's hospitals who are overbearing over this coronavirus. They're helping these hospitals handle patients, which I think is kind of good. Most people will waste the $1,200. I guarantee people are going to drink themselves into oblivion. That's possible. We'll be looking down We'll be locked down for 3 weeks. Probably not, but people should plan for it. Well, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. Locked down for 3 weeks. That could be possible. Yeah. I think so. It's been interesting being home. My wife and I being home. Yeah, the USS Comfort. Yeah, that's the one. USS Mercy, and I believe is going to the West Coast. Yeah, but according to the article, it made me believe that they're also going to help some people in New York City. Now, they're probably on both coasts, because I'm sure Los Angeles has been bombed too, so to speak, with patients with the COVID-19 virus. Especially these, I'm wondering it's going to be pretty soon. If you may be right there, Ed, because, the youngsters that licked toilet seats and licked items and licked whatever and coughed on vegetation or produce in grocery stores will be the next to get hit with the COVID-19. When they thought that they were not going to get it. Mardi Gras, yeah. Is that going on now? I thought that was over. I didn't know that started. Mardi Gras, it usually happens around Easter. President Trump said that he was thinking that our country was going to be back to production by Easter. And they really were just getting on to him about that. Which, I don't know. They should be beaten. Yeah, they should be beaten with a broken ventilator. Yeah. I like that one. Yeah. Oh, man. That's great. I like that one. They should be beaten with a broken ventilator. It just... What? I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I think that this could get worse before it gets better. It's a possibility. I really do, because what's going to happen is it's going to escalate into a lot more with this virus. It won't be full. I think they'll have to ease into it. Let the places that aren't so hard hit open first, and then go from there. Yeah. But by the 12th, which is Easter Sunday, which is also the anniversary of my surgery in Iowa City. 2 years already. 2 years since my 2 years since my surgery for my brain tumor, and it's been well over a year and a half now since I last had a seizure. So I've been taking that seizure medicine. It still puts me out like a light at times, but I'm doing a little better. I still get tired. I was having teeth problems lately, but I've been taking care of that by using Sensodyne, because that's my issue. Hot or cold sensitive teeth is my issue, and I was having some problems with that, so I've been taking care of it at home, but I was having some problems with my teeth, and I know that no dentist is going to touch me at this time, so I took some remedies on my own. But it was real interesting that he's going to try to do that by the 12th. I think he's kind of jumping the gun a little bit in that we'll be up by then. I would say more like June, if we get temperatures, we start getting summer. And like I said yesterday, when you're in the summer, especially in June, July, and August, kids are on summer vacation. People are, in the warm air, the sunshine. I know, because I had a summer cold one year, and I was down in Florida with my family. This is like in the 70s, and I wasn't feeling good at all. And I sat in the sun, and it burned a lot of that cold, my cold out. I mean, I was feeling better sitting out in the sun, and it wasn't so bad. I don't know. It a lot of times in the summer, though, people kind of catch cold from going in and out of air-conditioned buildings. Pretty much. I think that's what it ends up being. You're in an air-conditioned building. Okay, I'm going to try again. He says try again, so I'm going to try and call him again. He was not available on that last line. I'm going to try and call. Yeah, I'm going to try. Okay, I'm trying Ben again. So we're going to try him again. We're going to dial up right now. We're calling Ben Osman in Pittsburgh, and let's see if we get going here. He says send me a message on my messenger, so we're going to try it again. Connecting. Oh, goody. Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Hey, it's going, my man. How you doing? You holding up fine out there?
Yeah, we're holding up fine. I wasn't sure we were going to be on the air today because we are under a severe thunderstorm watch. Well, no, we have a tornado watch until like 9 o'clock tonight. And,
yeah, same here, too. It's getting pretty bad from what I heard.
I mean, there's like a long stretch. I saw a long stretch of storms all the way clear up into like Boston, I think. It's like, good grief.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, man, I haven't heard from you in a long time, and I know you've been busy and everything. So
yeah, last Saturday I just slept in, and I seen your message afterwards, and I was like, wow, like I slept in like pretty much all day. I really needed it.
Oh, you must have been up all night, huh?
Pretty much. Just researching and had a few drinks and talking to a buddy.
Yeah, you said you were doing research. Now, are you doing research on this COVID-19?
Like nonstop since, and it's weird, Gary, because as soon as he got away, like as soon as they did, he was innocent from impeachment. They had no charges on him. We were in the Zamboni office at work, and a few of my friends were in there with me. We watched it, and I got up and I was like, "Shit!" I was like, and they were like, "What?" And I was like, well, now, like, I'm gonna worry. And they're like, what? And I was like, because he got away with that, and he's exposed so much. Well, it's not that he got away with it. He was innocent to begin with, but they're trying so much ridiculousness on getting him down from being president.
Yeah.
That when that didn't work, I was like, that's the final straw. They have nothing to lose. And I said, you know, like, within the next, like, before the election, I was like, they're going to do something big.
Yeah.
That's going to cause, you know, a lot of chaos and this and that. And whenever Kobe's helicopter went down, of course, my mind, I mean, naturally absorbs what happened, take in different angles of journalism and different, you know, news takes on whatever. And after a while, you kind of like become aware of like all the angles of like reporting that's done, you know.
Yeah.
So I watched a whole bunch of different videos on that, and I was like, at the end of the night, I'm like, okay. Well, no, after a few nights, I'm like, I'll be damned. It seems like he was killed. But I was like, I don't want to say anything, you know, because people are going to be like, oh, okay, conspiracy dude, chill out. But when something doesn't add up, like I'm an overthinker, critical thinker, both probably. But it just didn't make sense. And I'm like, okay, fog, you know, they didn't have that radar on that. And I don't think fog, because what happened, like, the helicopter went like 2,000 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Pretty rapidly. And then after that, not even a free fall, like full speed throttle, like nosedive into the ground. And I was like, okay, if you don't see an experienced pilot, and I looked into his history, and he's very credible, I was like, that does not seem right. I was like, what the hell is this covering up? And that's what I said it. And looking back, that's exactly when we should have been locking everything down and everything, whatever. But WHO, which is World Health Organization, initially came out and gave wrong numbers and caused more of a panic than is needed, and he should resign. Just pretty big mess up. But some of the other reporting or research I've been doing shows a link between WHO and China. So there's a chance where China was like, they were covering it up for a while. But the timing of this whole thing is absolutely insane, and I do not believe in coincidences ever.
Yeah, the biological attack, that's what I think it is too, from China.
Absolutely. There's, in Wuhan, there's like the world's leading research lab for a biochemical or whatever. And yeah, it didn't come from a guy eating bat soup. I'm not saying that it can't, but the timing of the whole thing, and they want, and I was like, this is all, the numbers, they're still like 99.3% survival rate. When you even get this, it's far less.
Freaking bat soup. That's hilarious, though, because let's think of the Munsters or something, you know?
Right?
It's like I can picture Herman Munster eating bat soup. Yeah, Ed Delgado in the chat room, he goes, and now they have released the Kraken. Yeah, and it's this is nuts. I mean, it's getting crazy. And like, well, we had the last 7 days, which is the thing we do in our church. Our pastor knows a lot of stuff. You know, research about this. And when you realize that The Simpsons predicted this, and all these shows predicted it, and then we have Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation, and the fact that that was manufactured in the lab, and it was super safe. Because, see, if you look into the history of it, and you look at some old Lysol cans, coronavirus is on there. This goes way back.
I guarantee you, he probably owns patent to the virus itself.
And
I know Rockefeller's own a patent to H1N1. One of them, I can't remember. But yeah, he did Event 201 back in October, and it's a global pandemic exercise. And they did a simulation of the coronavirus worldwide.
A drill.
And it took out 65 million people. So what I'm saying is they released that purposefully after that, because I think I was like, something hit me the other day, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. And I was like, I want to see. So I posted on Facebook, I was like, how many people have gotten really sick in between November and January? And a whole ton of people, you know, said like, wow, that's crazy. I was like, you know, for 3 weeks and I couldn't breathe, this and that. And I'm saying that because a lot of people at my work, I recall being like insanely sick. I remember my one friend Kay, I mean, like pale as a ghost, and he went home half the day, and my buddy Chris was out for a while. I didn't get sick.
But
a lot of people did. So I think, I mean, it's been going around for a while, I think.
Yeah.
But just the numbers don't add up to having a complete lockdown. You know, it don't. And that's the concern. That's the concerning part for me. And then the hydro, whatever they have discovered, is one of the best treatment you can give a coronavirus patient right now. We have 2 Democratic governors right now that said they will punish doctors if they use it. They don't want these people. These people are sick, and they want as much chaos as possible. I don't know if this is 100% true, but I seen it last night. Deborah Messing from Will and Grace said that she hopes so many people get coronavirus and die because the majority of them are going to be Trump supporters. And then you got Hillary. I know for a fact Hillary said, did you see what she posted?
Something about Christians.
People are pissed. She posted a picture of like one of the hospitals like in New York City or whatever, and at the top it said, well, you know, Trump always did say America first, and it has like a graph of like U.S. being the worst hit. That's some sick shit right there. She is such a nasty, evil woman, and I can't wait to see her go down.
She's going to go down. I bet you she'll be one of those that catches it. It's posted there are 6 different coronaviruses, and this is the 7th. And many scientists believe the pandemics are just a matter of time. Which, you know, and we were talking about this. You know, if you look back, going way back to even the 1620s, I guess every 100 years there's a pandemic. You go back to 1918, what was that, the Spanish flu or something like that, right? 1918, around World War I?
Yeah, that was Spanish flu. You're right, it is about once every year.
And now, about 102 plus years later, you got this. Which...
Yeah, you might be onto something, Gary. I think you're right. I think it is every 100, because what was it before early 1800s was...
Had to do with a fever, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Well, there was one called the scarlet fever. Then years back,
yeah, that was the.
Number of years back, there was smallpox. I don't know if you remember that. I think I was in grade school.
I remember. Well, they said supposedly this is a form. Coronavirus is a form of smallpox or measles. Measles, I think it was, not smallpox.
You know what? I never got the measles. I had the mumps and I had the chickenpox.
Yeah, they were saying about like when we were kids or whatever, when chickenpox came around, like just stay out of school for a week and give us a bowl of soup. But who the heck knows what that was? Like
68. I remember because I got to stay home. Watch. That was the first year of Mr. Rogers. It was his first year of Mr. Rogers, and not only that,
nice.
and that was also when Dark Shadows was on in the afternoon. That was my highlight of my day, man. My mother let me have her TV. It was fabulous. That was in hog heaven, man.
Nice. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah, and
think of it, before 9/11, like we didn't have like a care in the world. After 9/11, everything changed.
Yeah. It was. This is just the beginning, and Ed said, and I believe this because I thought, is this it? Is this Armageddon? Is this what it is? And he said, and I've heard this on many other programs too. This isn't the end of the world per se yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, no, I think we're definitely. I don't think in either of our lifetimes, but I think there's going to be a massive change in the next couple hundred years. But the thing is, like, this might, and I don't even want to tell people this because I don't want people to worry. I'll be truthful and honest to them, but I'll do it in a way where it ain't gonna scare them. I'm like good at doing. I'm good at that, I guess. But I think even if this goes away here pretty soon, which I think it will, it has a good chance. It'll be something else. They're just gonna obstruct. They're gonna do whatever they can so he doesn't win.
Yeah.
At all costs. I mean, it's even if they did not conduct this, which I'm not saying the Democratic Party did. I'm saying the deep state did.
Yeah.
The deep state owns the Democrats. They're definitely doing whatever they can to fan the flames and make it worse right now. That's a fact.
And I think
surprised like they did in Puerto Rico. It's just to make him look bad. That's disgusting.
In the summer, it slows down anyway. You don't really hear too much viruses or illnesses until you get to like maybe November. When is the flu season? Isn't that like the beginning of November?
I think yeah.
And it usually goes into the spring, like about May, March, April. And then it goes.
I didn't really see the source, but I did hear this might be here for like seasonal now.
So,
but in like the per million death rate though is so much lower than the actual just regular flu. And I understand. Okay, they say they don't know anything about it. I think it's bullshit. They do. But yeah, like per million in the U.S., it's like it's such a ridiculously low number right now. At least it's like 37 per million die.
Wow.
Italy, it's a little bit more, there's a lot of older real old people who live in Italy, and not only that, they all live in the same house. You've got like households of 8, 9, and so that's why a lot of that is happening.
We go back to the days, and I talked about this a couple of times. In our last 7 days, we had this meeting every Thursday morning at our church. And our pastor is pretty much smart about things like this. And we were talking about this now, and I'll have this uploaded, so watch for it on Spreaker here. And we're talking about the fact that they're coming up with this vaccination, but this vaccination would mean if you get this vaccination, it requires a chip.
Yeah, there's no way I'm doing it. If that's the case, I don't think that's going to happen yet. They have been trying to push that for, I can't remember. It was in the draft of Obamacare, page 104, section 8 or something. But it did talk about the chip and everything. And I was like, here it is. And then when Affordable Care Act passed, I kind of freaked out, and I told my one buddy, and he's like, no, chill out. He goes, it was implemented in the draft, but it never made it into the final thing. So they've been trying to do that for a while, and they'll definitely, it's like Rahm Emanuel said, Obama's right-hand man.
Right.
was the mayor of Chicago. He said, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
And so they're definitely going to attempt to do what they can right now. But luckily, we have Trump guides, and he will lessen the blow, if not turn it around. Because every single thing the idiots ever, tried to do to him and to us backfired in their face badly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people even disgusted with him right now playing politics over, what's going on right now. That's disgusting.
Because they lost. He got the impeachment failed, so they had to find something to get him out.
Yep.
And Ed posted, the deep state is in a panic mode. It's almost endgame for them. They pay attention to the stimulus package and what is going on, what happened in the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury Department.
I've heard rumors that the Fed Reserve might be done. No, I can't confirm that. I haven't really looked into it or anything. It was something I saw late last night, but...
And this is leading to that cashless society, because they're saying that you're handling money, you're handling cash, you're handling dollar bills, whatever the case may be, and you're giving it to the cashier. What your printer on it, whatever you have, it spreads that way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're trying to the digital dollar, and eventually North American Union, Amero. Like, I think, I really don't know. Like, I know what's written in the Bible and Revelations and stuff like that is inevitable. But comparing the two right now, it just doesn't add up. It makes me believe it's not quite close to the end yet.
No,
but like you said, it's getting there.
I saw a posting on Facebook. It's been seen a couple of times. And it was, I don't know, a lot of things can be fixed. It can be photoshopped. It can be do whatever they want with it.
Easily.
And they had this live, what looked like a live video. It sounded like trumpets in Israel.
Oh, did you, in the sky? Was turning and...
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I've seen the one with the UFO. I saw the one with the UFO last night. And I know, because I've been seeing that stuff. It got me the first time, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, probably 10 years plus ago. And I was like, check this out. Wow, this is amazing. I can't remember what, it was a UFO of some kind. So yeah, I seen them. And the UFO one I seen last night, even though I knew it was fake, I just thought to myself, what if it's fake right now? But they said it was live from Turkey, and that's the crazy part, because it's actually made as a live feed, so you think that it can't be fake, Meanwhile, it's easier to do a fake live feed than it ain't, just pre-recorded and edited.
And put the live...
But it looked real, and I was like, who knows? But somebody from that city was like, I'm here right now, and it's daytime, not nighttime. And
how can they create a live stamp?
It's pretty cool.
I don't think anybody can create a live stamp like that.
I watched a video on how you could do it and trick people, but there's, like, if you read the comments to, like, the UFO one, it'll say, like, look, watch it loop on the right side. It's only, like, 11-second loop, but it says it's live. But the one UFO one it was pretty freaky, I ain't gonna lie.
Wow. That's a way out there thing. This is, when I do my way out there, which is that show like I do Coast to Coast, I did a piece. And I follow this guy on his channel on YouTube. His name is Calvin. He does this thing called Slapped Ham. And it is really, he has some different things on there. And some of them are like creatures that washed ashore that look really weird. He has had people, proof of time travel. Shows a picture of this guy. It looks like he's looking on a smartphone, and it looks like it's set in the 1940s, junk like that. And then, that's stuff that you can really think about. It can be turned in. It can be photoshopped like that. But it's just hilarious. It is, but it's just entertainment to me, and I think that's why I do it. I don't know. I always, strange stuff has always been fascinating to me because I was a horror movie fanatic growing up. I just love it.
I told you I think I told you this. What did it for me was research project I did in 4th grade, and I did it on Bermuda Triangle and Atlantis. And I got a couple books and movies from the library, and ever since then, I was just so intrigued with stuff like that.
And Bermuda Triangle has always been a fascinating topic, along with Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, I got a question for you, or a riddle. I guess more of a question, like a riddle, but what was like 8 or 9 out of 10 people when they say they see Bigfoot, what else do they see close to him or around the same time?
I have no idea.
UFO.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
really weird.
It's kind of connected. They've talked about that on Coast to Coast, and this other guy I listened to out of Canada.
I know, until I heard that on Coast to Coast, I think. I was like, holy crap, he's right.
Spaced Out Radio, that guy out of Canada.
Did you ever watch that Survivor Man? Oh, he's good. That's a really good show. Do you remember Les Strout, Gary?
Barely.
He was the Survivor Man. He was like Survivor Man, and he'd go out to wherever and for like a week isolated by himself, and he'd record everything. And he'd always eat hunt, catch rabbit, and cook that and stuff. He was just awesome. Better than Bear Grylls, I think. Well, his show stopped, and he said the last time he I don't know if it was part of his show or whatever, but he was camping. And this guy is so intelligent when it comes to wildlife, and he has thousands of days camping under his belt. He's just a nature genius, He said he heard something out of his tent the one night. He said he cannot explain, and he swears up and down that it was Bigfoot. So then he went, I haven't watched it yet, but my buddy said he has a show now where he goes kind of tracking Bigfoot or something.
I know they have a show.
Pretty credible.
I don't know if it's on the History Channel or one of those, something called Hunting Bigfoot. What channel is that? I think it could be History. History Channel has some pretty good stuff.
That might even be his show. I know I wanted to watch that. I haven't watched TV in so long.
I don't watch the current regular stations. I just don't care for the garbage on there. But I do like to watch the History Channel on some documentaries.
Heck yeah, History, Discovery. And I'll put on Laugh or MeTV in the background sometimes to some Mama's Family or Night Court.
Yeah.
Them you can't ever go wrong.
And of course, like I said, Hogan's Heroes. Learn to be Colonel Hogan just in case we get into an encampment. Yeah.
That's a good show too.
The underground radio.
Whether I know, our governor's implementing lockdown tonight at 8, which I thought already happened last week. I can't remember.
Wow.
But these people, you should have seen North Park. My buddy posted a picture of North Park yesterday, I think it was. There's tons of people. Come on. That one,
You can't get people to stay home.
Nobody wants to listen. And even, I don't want to be hypocritical because I'm staying home as much as I can and doing my part. But at the same time, they might even be okay, look at the rate of infection of this thing and look how minor it is as much as they're just blowing it out of proportion. And I want to think the same thing, but I ain't a scientist and I'm not a doctor and I can't determine whether it's going to get a lot worse or a lot better. But I do know this. There was a guy that made a video, Gary. If I find it again, there's somebody else that wants to see it too. I'll send it to you. It was just the other day, and he was walking around New York City, and he's like, let's see if we can find one coronavirus patient or anything. And, and he's walking around the city, and he's asking paramedics, and they just don't know what he's talking about. And I'm like, it was just, it was really weird. And then I put that and, we're so understocked on ventilators, but to have thousands in that storage room, I was like, what if this is all bullshit?
Yeah.
I don't think it is, but I don't personally know anybody. And it just doesn't add up. But I'm like, what if this is just Because they said, I read something last week where it's possible that the U.S. media is like
blowing out of proportion.
No, like they got bought and paid off by China a while ago or something. They're being like forced to lie about everything right now.
Well,
so
you
what
know,
if? I mean,
China,
I always
communist
like
government. Now, nowadays, but and it's
I know mine's so like just sandpaper right now.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I mean, I would concern because my wife, you know, she's a diabetic, and I had a heart condition, and I had a head operation, and you know, a fever can send a person into seizures, and that would be my concern at that point with fever.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's always better to be safe, you know. That's just to be safe, smart, and look out for your neighbor.
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
family, friends, loved ones.
It's just
there's a lot of.
I'm looking at the beaches. Was it Florida?
Oh,
and
that's what
California.
Yeah.
These kids who are on their spring break, and God forbid we can't party. You know,
that's just.
I mean, come on.
But you know, I read somewhere else about that, and I know it's insane. Like when I seen that, I was like, "What the heck are you thinking?" I was like, "That's when like you know, martial law comes into effect and forces you to go back in, or they're going to shoot you." Which I don't think is going to come down to it. There's a lot of stupid people that can probably make that happen.
Yeah.
But they were saying that I was reading an article a few days ago, probably, and it was about how like they're like, how do you not expect these kids to be like this? They've had the Democratic Party shoving, the world's going to end in 10 years because climate change.
Oh, yeah.
This and that, there's 57 genders, this and that. Of course they don't care. Yeah, and AOC's all
AOC, Ocho Stinkos.
She's upset that illegals didn't get money.
Yeah, she's so...
You know what, Gary? No, she has to be. She has to be bought and paid for.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way that chick's real. There's no way. I mean, what if George
She's a bartender.
Like, hey, here's a chick from Manhattan that has no brains. Here's, you know, but I heard like she did graduate from something, and there's proof that she is intelligent. So what if my buddy thinks from day one? He even said it. He goes, "Dude, you can't be serious. Like nobody's that dumb publicly that much." And I was like, that always got me thinking. I'm like, what if she is just as a distraction, kind of, you know?
Yeah, it says she's a paid actress. I said, I believe it.
I mean, she had that one video she posted, and she's like, what the heck's a garbage disposal? What does this thing do? Like, holy, like, and that's like one of the better ones. Like, it's a shame. But I just, like, when I get secondhand embarrassment from somebody, you know it's bad.
Oh.
I get it from her every time it's like she's. But the damage that she is doing with all that stuff is what pisses me off, because it is warping the minds of our kids.
Yeah,
that's first and foremost what I care most about.
It's influence.
Yeah, and then she's posting pictures in front of that fence like it's a concentration camp, and they were like, "No, it's a parking lot. What are you doing?" Did you ever see those pictures when she's dressed in all white and she's all crying, holding onto the fence, and
you
it
know,
looks like
if I was there,
it's nuts.
If I was there and had a car and a good sound system, and I could get a hold of the theme to Hogan's Heroes, I'd crank that puppy up.
But I think, like, I mean, her, Pelosi, they all have it coming so bad. Like, I seriously think that it's close to people on the verge, like, I don't even know. Like, people are going to take shit into their own hands.
Pelosi
there's no way our forefathers would be putting up with half of this shit right now.
No.
It's what they are doing is obviously against our country and bad for our country.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we've all been, even me, we've all been so desensitized to everything,
right?
That we can't fully grasp how bad that is.
Yep. And
I think they're blackmailed so bad from foreign diplomats and stuff that they just have to do what they're told, whether they like it or not, I think.
Yeah, Ed posted she has an economic degree at some Ivy League school. A YouTuber, and I don't know if you've ever seen this, Mr. Reagan, did a whole breakdown on this. And she came from, she was auditioned. And I played some of this on my show, but Ed's played some on his show as well, which is on Tuesday nights here on Spreaker at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Tuesday nights. And he played that one time. And he's doing a lot more stuff. He's on every day with some short podcasts. He's fabulous. So tune in to Tuesday night if you ever get a chance here on Spreaker.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I will. I don't think you have anything better to do anymore, like nowadays anyways, you know.
Caramel Conservative. And as a matter of fact, I even replay it. Replay it. So check that out. It's on my Spreaker site.
Yeah, I've heard him before. It's been a little while, but I like him.
Yeah. And experiment. I don't know if that would work. But because you're on here, I don't think I could open up. I was going to have both of you on sometime. I don't know if that would work or not. I could use Skype, probably Skype, call it Skype. You could probably call it Skype.
That'd be cool. I know I got a new iPhone with FaceTime, if that helps.
I've never used FaceTime. I've been hearing of it, but I thought maybe you had to have something special in order to do that. So I never really got the
I can't stand the iPhone. I'm too used to Android.
I am too. All my stuff is Android. I don't really get into the other one. I've always been a Windows person.
Yeah, I've had it. I had it for almost a month, and it's garbage. I think the videos are really cool, like the pictures and the quality, but that's about it.
Because I still have Windows 7 on this computer that I'm broadcasting from, and I think eventually on down the line I'm going to have to get another computer that is capable of getting Windows 10 because the Windows 7 is not secure anymore. So
yeah,
I'm going to have to eventually go and break down, eventually get another computer. I'll have to save up for one. Maybe that's 12 minutes. Maybe I'll have to get one. But anyway, I just have to deal with what I've got. It's working pretty good. My sound system has a short in it somewhere. I don't know where it's coming from, but it has some wire short here somewhere. But it's working pretty good otherwise.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I sometimes I have to go and get now I probably won't be able to do that no more for a while, get my RCA plugs, but I got some friends who have cords and wires and I've got plenty, so I'm good.
Nice. Yeah, maybe if you just mess around with it, maybe it is a loose connection or something.
Yeah. Yeah, although I'll tell you, sometimes I dreamt of having this nice little spread and bring back turntables because I kind of miss that. I would love to do that again. When I started, that's what I started with. And of course, I had professional radio equipment. And the cartridges that look like 8-tracks, but they're not. Those were cartridges that had commercials on them.
Huh.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a radio station back then? Those big honking things look like 8-tracks. Were really.
I never.
I
know what you're talking about. I never knew that.
They were just a loop of tape that went around and around. And what happens is there was like a high frequency tone. And a lot of the radio stations, this is the very, very beginning of automated radio. Because this high frequency tone kicked in, and that's how automated radio stations started. That's how they started. If you ever seen a big piece of automation equipment, it'll blow your mind. It's this big, large carousel cartridge slots. And then on the other side, there were like 3 or 4 reel-to-reels. And all their stuff was on there already recorded. Yeah, that's the early version of automated radio.
Wow, that's incredible how they used to do that.
I've never seen it in operation. I have some pictures on my Facebook, though. Because I follow a bunch of groups that deal with classic radio and old stuff like that. Old radio equipment. It's fabulous. And I still play old radio programs. I listen to those all the time. I like to go back and listen to those old shows. They're fun to listen to. I was listening.
Much
listen to The Shadow. That's a great show. One of the best radio dramas, if you ever get a chance to listen to it, is called Suspense. They were great. Raw produced for that time.
Really? Well,
yeah.
When was that? Back in
Back in the days of radio. Yeah, back when there was drama on radio, you didn't have TV yet. Yeah, they're great to listen to.
Oh, I'm sure. I know it'd be a lot more imaginative sitting back and listening to a story. Like, there's something special about that and reading a book as opposed to watching. I mean, watching movies is awesome, you know, but like when you use your imagination, that's a shame. Like now, kids nowadays, they just don't use their imagination much anymore.
They don't know the fun of it. They really don't.
I remember getting that. Me and my buddy got massive cardboard boxes and cut a little hole in it. I remember I was playing Nintendo and I thought about it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be so cool. Like I'm actually in a car, and I cut out like a perfect size hole for my TV to fit. And put the box up against the TV, got inside, and was playing like Rad Racer, and I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And, yeah, I was in a box with the TV connected to the front of it, but in my mind, I was in a spaceship or something, you know?
Yeah. Not only that, I remember, I don't know, I was a kid at the time, and this was back in the days when the arcades were kind of fun to go into, you know? The arcades had this thing.
Oh, right.
And it was a mock front seat of a car, steering wheels, rails you could get. You had your speedometer and everything, the whole dashboard, the mock dashboard. And you go in there, and the windshield is a screen, and you put in the coin, and it runs a movie, and you're driving.
Oh, that's cool. With like a Nickelodeon car?
Yeah.
That's cool. I never even, my goodness, I wonder how much one of them would be worth now.
As a matter of fact, when I was growing up as a kid, back home in the greater Pittsburgh airport, I remember this as a kid. This was the old airport.
Oh, I miss the old airport.
And they had an arcade in there. And in the arcade, they had one of these mock steering wheel things that you could see a movie. And I had a blast. No joke. There's a coin you put in there and you drive to a movie. That's great. And I think that's cool. What they used to do for driver's ed some schools.
Yeah, you know what? I think I've seen that in the movie, now you say that.
And
something like that. It kind of rings a bell.
They had a movie on the screen. They had desks, you know, the desks in the classroom were steering wheels, fake.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching that, I think in health class.
And I think that was, and I don't know what TV show was depicted in. It might have been one of those movies set in the high school, but I can't remember what the movie was. Now, come to think of it, but I remember.
Oh, License to Drive, I think, with Corey Feldman.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think I did see that one.
So he's trying to get his license. That's a really good movie. That's the one where he's like he's riding with his dad, and then he sees his crush, like his girl, in the corner, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, you know, just let me drive her right down the street, you know, and I'll come back and pick you up." So he drops his dad off. That was Richard Mazer. He's one of my favorite actors. So he drops him off. He was in the original It, but he drops him off, and he's holding all the grocery bags, and he goes and picks her up, and she's like, "Oh, hey, well, let's go. I'm not going home. I'm going to my friend Louise's house or something. She lives all the way over there." And he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So then he takes her, and he comes back an hour later, and you see his dad. Finally, he gets home, and his dad walks in the front door soaking wet from sweat, with all the bags ripped and everything, and he almost kills him. That's such a good movie. That's what happened to him. I do believe that Charlie Sheen did that to him during the making of Lucas.
An interesting thing about the actors, Tom Hanks, who played Mr. Rogers in that movie, which I haven't seen yet, he came down, him and his wife were one of the first ones to be tested positive for the coronavirus.
Yeah, it's weird.
That was interesting. Why him?
I do know that I really think that he's not a good person. He has, and you have to look at, like, especially nowadays, if you have accusations towards you, it's taken serious unless you're George H.W. Bush and Tom Hanks. Because Hanks has more than one accuser, and the one accuser named Sarah Ashcroft. I think I still have her on my friends list on Facebook, but she, or following her, but she claims that her parents sold her to Tom Hanks when she was little.
Wow.
And like a few others. And then there's Isaac Cappy, who he was in quite a few movies, I think Terminator Salvation, a couple other ones. But he found some stuff out and said, yeah, Tom Hanks, he named quite a few people. And these are the people that either die mysteriously or say they're not going to kill themselves need to be listened to. That's all I know.
Wow.
But 2 days before he died, he goes, I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to kill myself. Like, I never even would think to do that. And then 2 days later, he blew a tire, and he was, like, by an overpass on a bridge, and he just got out and jumped off.
Wow.
So and then on top of that,
he was related. And I told you the last time you were on, he was a distant relative of Mr. Rogers. Could you imagine if Fred was alive today? If they wouldn't be picking on him?
Right. Oh, yeah, they probably would be, for sure.
Because I know Fred,
but I think
Fred would be calming people's nerves. That would have been the best thing.
Yep.
A lot of people say we would need him now.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
But that's just like, that's one thing I've learned from researching over the years is the people that die very oddly or straight up say don't kill, I'm not suicidal. Those are the people, they make it obvious. That's why they're dumb, because they make it obvious.
Look at
they're
Epstein.
rich, but they're dumb.
And that other guy that got accused of sexual acts, and the Hollywood producer.
Yeah, Weinstein.
Weinstein and Epstein.
He has coronavirus.
Does he really?
They said yep. Yeah, they're putting him away from population or something. But his one accuser, the one female, said that he has a vagina and a penis.
Oh.
And they asked him on the way out of that hearing that day, and the reporter was like, is it true what she said? And he goes, yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
He probably does. I know a lot about Hollywood and the occult and everything, but I probably know nothing in the grand scheme of things. I think we're so close. And I think before this whole virus thing, we were so close to uncovering a lot of the truth. And who Deep State is, what they were doing. They were being exposed. I was telling my buddy, I grabbed him, I was like, George Soros is a household name now, dude. Deep State is like a known thing. That isn't supposed to happen. That shit that we were talking about for the last 15 years now, people were saying it everywhere. They're so exposed, it's ridiculous. So I was like, that's what scares me. They have nothing left to fear.
And they did a multi-part series on a recent Way Out There about this thing called technocracy. And this guy named Patrick Wood wrote a book called Technocracy Rising, which I would like to get a hold of. And talks about technocracy, talks about Agenda 21.
Oh.
And we've talked about that in the last 7 days. Agenda 21.
That is, that's, people used to think that was, conspiracy theory or whatever, and I think a lot of people are saying, like, okay, well, and I don't hold anybody responsible for not knowing. A lot of people have too much time taking care of their kids, going to work, making meals for their families. They don't have time to research this garbage, but I did. I was fortunate enough, and I took it serious, and I care about people. And I was like, I want to know what the hell they're planning. It's just all too perfect, or imperfect, maybe, for that matter. But
I just feel like I just feel like I've been in a movie over the past several weeks. It's just amazing.
I know. Yeah, it does. Everything seems surreal, kind of. But this is what happened. Like, if it's which is not. But look how people were acting. Like, it's insane.
Years ago, I used to watch end of the world movies, like they were going that style. I think I've seen just about every one I could find, including Left Behind series. There was a movie on History Channel. I don't know if you ever seen it. It was a multi-part movie, I think, and it was an end of the world movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was very good.
Not Stephen King's The Stand.
That I've never seen.
That's probably one of my favorite end of the world.
I'd have to see that. Is that, well, see, right now, my wife and I, we get this stimulus. I'm going to try to see if I can get Netflix back. We've been kind of not.
Oh, you have? Actually,
we don't. We had Netflix for a while, but we kind of dropped it. We were using Hulu, but we dropped that for a while.
Netflix is garbage. They're all garbage. Every time I get it, it's garbage. I get rid of it, and I see all the good movies. Just like when I was a kid, like, we didn't have HBO, and I see all these good movies. I'm like, Mom, please, let's get HBO. She finally gives in. HBO is ordered, and then nothing I ever want to watch is on.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how that works?
If you get a chance, though, I'm telling you that you will absolutely... It might be a little scary to watch right now, considering what's happening, but The Stand is an awesome... I can't stand Stephen King. I like his movies and his books, but personally, the guy's a doof. And he's, I think, a pedophile. But,
oh, yeah, he probably is, no doubt. And I really don't care for him because he does knock Christians, and I just don't, I'm a man who is a firm believer in, Christ is my Savior.
Absolutely,
and,
same here, Gary. He made an ass out of himself last week.
I played that song here earlier in the show. It's a song. And I play a lot more emerging artists because what I'm on is this thing called Podchaser. And they're kind of like, they don't like us playing the copyrighted stuff. So I'm kind of more going toward the emerging artists that I play. And
that's smart.
I play a song called Jesus Changes Everything. It's a song by this guy named Rick Gross. It's a fabulous tune. And
I have to check out.
And it's, where I can get a bank of co-hosts. This thing's fabulous. I'll have a bank of co-hosts, and I can get a bank of guests just on the subject matter that I'm interested in. One of them is interested in doing is one on astro travel. This is
that'd be cool.
This is where you would travel out of your body in your sleep.
I thought since I was a kid that I can remote view certain things. I still think I can. Like, if I'm not...
I never tried remote viewing
I could close my eyes and see what Giant Eagle parking lot looks like right now. I don't know if I'm 100% accurate, but I could see it. Like, it's weird. I always did that ever since I was a kid.
Now, remote
even though I'm not there, what would it look like right now? Like,
So remote viewing is kind of a live feed in a dream, kind of, isn't it? If you
kind of more of a meditation.
Interesting. And I play meditative music at night sometimes.
I fall asleep to it a few times. It is really good.
Okay, and you remember, now I'm doing something at night sometimes. Now, certain nights, every couple of weeks, I get the Jazz at Night. But I have this other show called Easy Nights. You remember WSHH? Remember they used to play that music? It was the beautiful...
From Pittsburgh?
Yeah, beautiful music.
I think that's what... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what...
Stations like WJOI, Joy 94.
No, he was WJAS.
Yeah, WJAS, though, they did more oldies. Their AM station was talk, And now it's back to talk again. Is there a Fox affiliate, aren't they now? They do talk?
Yeah,
I remember,
everything, it got all screwed up.
Because they used to have Coast to Coast on FM in Pittsburgh, as I understand, and then they dropped that station.
Yeah, and that was the best. That was the best. And then they changed it, and my buddy told me, and I was like, get out of here. They wouldn't do that. And I was like, no,
it's radio.
I guess they did. And now it's like, yeah, now it's like the shittiest AM channel that hardly ever comes in anywhere now. Like,
yeah, that was a weak signal when it was 13Q.
Yeah.
It was a weak signal when it was 13Q because I could never, and I used to like Jackson Armstrong. And as soon as it got dark, they cut their signal and they could never hear it anymore.
They had to have lost a lot of customers due to that change.
Yeah. But
I bet you
you can listen to WJAS online. You can listen to it online. They are on They're on iHeart.
I never think of that. I always forget to do that. Dude, everything's online.
Yeah, it is. Everything's on. Well, which were really, in a way, ruined radio because what happened now and what's disappointing is we're coming up to the 100th birthday of radio. On November 2nd, 2020, radio will be 100 years old. Because KDKA started November 2nd, 1920.
Wow. At the old Westinghouse building.
Yeah.
I remember that. I was like 3. No, I'm joking. But
you time travel back then.
You say 100 years.
Yeah, you time travel back then.
It's like, whoa,
now, if we had the capability of time travel, what would you think? Now, I had an idea for a book. And I was going to write it. But if I were to get someone to proofread, I'd write it. It's a story where this coronavirus gets really bad, but I get in the story the character gets infected with it, but goes back in time and spreads the infection in the 1970s.
Oh god, it kind of sounds like. Did you ever see 12 Monkeys?
No, I didn't. Oh, maybe I did.
You have to watch it.
I think I saw half of it.
No, don't now. I'm like, dude, that freaked me out if I watch that now. But it is pretty accurate, and it's like I'm sorry, go on with your thing, but what, like the virus spread like 70s, and then time traveler, what, came back to save it, or?
Well, that's where I'm having trouble trying to with that plot. All I know so far
there's a. I was just gonna say that I think it's either Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. There's an episode almost exact like that, and I can't remember the name, but it is very, very, very good.
And when they said that they're fighting over toilet paper, I was thinking about that one episode of the Twilight Zone where the neighbors, and that one neighbor has a bomb shelter.
Yep. Bingo. I think that's like the first thing I thought of too.
That was on a few weeks ago on MeTV. They ran it on MeTV one night. And I said, wow.
Oh, that's such a good episode. You know what? Maybe I'll probably watch some Twilight Zone tonight. I've seen all the old episodes, but they're so good.
I watch them in order. I'm into this now. Getting old TV shows and watching it in episodic order the way it originally aired. In order.
Oh, that's cool. We didn't do that with Twilight Zone. We kind of like skipped around, and then we'd fall asleep, and then a few would play, so we'd have to go back, and so we were all out of sync. But they aren't episodic, anyways. You can watch that like. But that bomb shelter one, what happens at the end?
Okay, at the
nothing
end,
happens, right?
At the end, they found out that it wasn't what they thought it was.
Yeah.
I think it was some kind of a plane or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was not. They mistaken and thought it was.
I don't know if the ending with Burgess Meredith and he drops his glasses.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Time enough at last. When I first seen that, I was like, "Oh no, you have to be kidding me." That's terrible.
And the other one I think was the one I think that is another fabulous episode, and I get about 20 minutes left of the show. Another fabulous episode that or the movie, And you know what I'm talking about. And I watched this when it was on. I lived by myself in Ohio. I was living in Cleveland, going to broadcasting school. And that was the day after. The one about the Lawrence, Kansas.
Jason
Robart.
Watched that movie.
That was originally a TV movie. It was a big exclusive run.
Yeah.
And that kept me up. I was living by myself in Cleveland, going to broadcasting school, and I was up.
That's an eye-opener. I accidentally got it thinking it was the day after tomorrow.
No, that's the one about the weird weather and stuff. That was the one. That was based on the book written by Art Bell and Whitley Strieber.
No way! What?
Yeah.
The day after tomorrow?
Yeah, the day after tomorrow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was. It was called The Quickening.
Awesome dudes.
It was called The Quickening. I remember Art Bell talking about this, and this is why I really got into it. Art Bell. It was The Quickening.
Oh, Art Bell was awesome. It makes me sick listening to him. I wish he was still around.
Yeah, an episode of The Twilight Zone. Ed wrote the 12 Monkeys Saigo series was off the hook. 3 seasons, and it cleans up nice. And then he wrote an episode of The Twilight Zone called To Serve Man.
Great.
It's a cookbook.
When I first seen that was definitely. There's so many. I have to say that I Shot an Arrow in the Air or something like that is my favorite one, and I've never seen anything so well done. And it just blew my mind when the plot twist hit, and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me right now!"
Well, think about
that's when
Soylent
that's
Green.
The one where they think
Soylent Green.
To Serve Man.
Have you ever seen the movie Soylent Green with Charlton Heston?
No, but I heard about it.
Okay, that is the movie where they talked about that, and they say at the end that Soylent Green is people.
Yeah.
That movie freaked me out.
That's where they got the To Serve Man from, I think.
That could be. But Serve Man was before that, though, because remember, Soylent Green was Soylent Green was 1968 or 69, not sure.
You're right. Okay, then it was before. Well, then Soylent Green probably. But the top Twilight Zone, so many movies.
Okay, did you know?
Always.
Did you know that Twilight Zone? This guy named Carl Amari in Chicago took all the Twilight Zone scripts and adapted it to radio. And the Twilight Zone is also a radio drama series. Don't know if any of the stations back home pick it up, but we have it here in Clinton, Iowa on KROS. And it's on FM and AM.
Huh.
Yeah, because the KROS is up. Now, this station, I almost tried to get a job at. AM 1340 and FM 105.9. Yeah, that's our KROS here in Clinton, Iowa. And they went and got an FM translator and went 24 hours. And they used to go off the air at midnight years and years ago. And they were the one that got a 24-hour license.
Oh, that's cool. I would love to lay back and... I bet you they have a lot of audio Twilight Zones like on YouTube. I know me and my ex, especially during a good thunderstorm at night, we would lay on our super comfy sectional couch and we would put on like scary stories.
Yeah.
And there's someone anything by Mr. Nightmare is so good. And there's times where I'm laying there and I'm like kind of freaking out. And I'm like, okay, no, like these stories are getting pretty intense. And I remember the one time she put on like top 10 most craziest like 911 calls.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you what, yeah, that is so disturbing. I'll never forget the one, it was the husband and wife and they were in a tent and they were camping and then the husband or the wife calls, she's screaming, calls 911 and you hear, and it like kind of captions what's going on in the moment at the bottom of the screen, you know, while the audio's going on.
Yeah.
And it said, like, the husband's being dragged out by a bear. And then she starts screaming. She's like, we're located. Like, it's hard to understand her, and the next thing you know, you can hear her being dragged, and then it just goes dead.
Wow.
They both got eaten by a bear. It is just wild.
I have to check some of this stuff out.
Things you normally can't, see or hear. Like, I've always found kind of intriguing, but that ain't for the faint of heart. That's for sure. Because the only way I'll go back and listen to it is if somebody's with me and they're like, "Oh, I want to hear it." I'll be like, "Okay, I'll throw it on." But like, it's like one and done type
Some
thing.
things you just don't listen to or watch alone. Yeah. There's a radio series back in the days out. It's a pretty good show too. It's another old radio series.
Like a good.
But those are fabulous. Getting down to 14 minutes and 53 odd seconds of this program, so I'm going to have to put a conclusion to this, Joe. This has been absolutely another one of my fabulous shows, and they're rare. They're rare, to say the least. Because now I'm planning on making this Saturday Extra, which is kind of a light format. I play a mixture of music and talk, and different things I throw in, and I'm going to be making it an every Saturday thing from here on in, because it seems to be my niche here on Saturdays, to do the Saturday Extra. And basically it's music and sports a little bit and stuff like that. And it's kind of sad. I think this is what really got me kind of bummed out about this whole epidemic, is the fact that baseball was put on hold. The March Madness was was canceled. And a lot of these colleges depend on March Madness to make a profit and popularity.
Oh, I know. The economy's going to get hit so hard from all this.
I mean, I know it's hurting baseball. I don't know if we're going to have baseball. Are we going to have baseball season? Are we going to have football?
I heard. Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, like they said. Last thing I heard from any sports was, Sid Crosby said that when hockey comes back, they should just go straight into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so I bet you they all probably will. Other than football. Football will probably be on.
I just heard a lot of stuff now. What was it about Tom Brady? He got traded or something?
Buccaneers, that's so wild. Oh, just retire a Patriot, dude. Like, you don't hurt the fans, Nobody. I get it maybe from a personal perspective if he wants to be like, okay, I spent my life on this team. I want to go see what it's like for a year or 2 or 3 somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, I get that because I might want to do that too. But when you're as good as Montana did it, Franco Harris did it. But
yeah.
I just don't believe when you're as good as you are, just retire there. Period. Stop.
Yeah. I was watching a documentary last week on the Bears 1985 season, and they showed Punky QB now, the McMahon. Man, he's aged. He's got some problems. He's got some problems.
Yeah. Oh, he has that cognitive, from the concussions and stuff. I think.
Yeah, I think he has seizures too.
Oh.
I'm not sure. It probably does. Well, thank you so much for being. And I've been kind of bummed out because it's been and I know you probably kind of get frustrated because you can't be on when you want to, and you had to call off on me a number of times, and I'm working on a backup in case that happens. But we're going to work this out somehow, and I know with this.
Okay, yeah, definitely, Gary.
And
I know for the foreseeable future I'll be free. I think everybody will be.
Yeah, because I can't imagine though you're going to lose a lot of money with this. So you're getting the stimulus, aren't you?
We get the stimulus plus $600, I think, every unemployment check up until whatever. My brother was explaining it to me, but I read quite far into. Enough to make me sick seeing what the Democrats demanded, but I think Trump got a lot of that garbage out of there and was like, look, okay, well, you know, you gotta it's got to be done quick, and you have to bargain fast and negotiate, you know.
Wow.
So I think we got the best deal we could right now.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of a bummer because I really wanted to come home and see my sisters. You know, I haven't seen them in so long, and I was gonna put stuff away for a Pittsburgh trip, and I know now. You know, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. So you'll still be able to. You're just gonna have to wait till probably
because you know, we would probably, you know, I would have been in Ambridge, and you know, see some of my friends there. You know,
that'd be cool. Yeah, I'd freaking go out and get us some crab legs or something. I haven't. Have you heard from Steve Mucha?
He contacts me, sends me videos every once in a while, and
okay, yeah, same here. But I haven't heard from him in a while. I thought about it the other day. I was like, wait a second.
We might, with this is going on, everybody's staying home, and like I say, your governor does that with the staying home. Everybody's going to be home, so it's gonna throw this thing into a tither a little bit longer. It's gonna be quite interesting.
What they want.
It's gonna be interesting.
I think they want people scared, and they want to stir up enough bullcrap to.
You know, the economy's gonna tank. It's gonna be like the Great Depression.
It is. It's probably maybe gonna be the worst ever, but I think we'll. Thank goodness 45's president. I think we'll come back from it as much as we can. But I think this is what they want. They wanted the economy to tank. They want, meaning the Democrats, they want all this anarchy and chaos. It's a shame. And if this doesn't show everybody their motive and what they truly care about, then... But, you know, I don't even think some people care either way. They just want, you know, they just want anarchy.
Yeah. That's definite. That's definite. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it's starting to storm pretty good here.
Oh boy, is it? Yeah, we're supposed to get something here too. It's been kind of overcast. But check this out.
I was going to see because you kept on.
This is my. I don't know if you could hear that. That's my theme music.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah. That's how I end my show. Thanks a lot, Ben, for joining me today.
Hey, you're welcome, Gary. Anytime. Hopefully next Saturday, buddy.
Yeah, you bet.
Or before we have emergency broadcasts, we'll just shoot the shit like normal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, maybe I'll come up with some kind of a War of the Worlds type of thing. I don't know. That could be nice.
Hey, that'd be pretty cool.
All right, thanks a lot, Ben. You have a great...
Thank you, Gary. God bless. Take care, buddy. I'll talk to you next time.
All righty. Bye-bye. And that's Ben Osman, our good friend from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and back home in Western PA. And I want to thank Ed Delgado for joining us in the chat room today. That's going to wrap it up for our program today. That's it for the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra. I want to, first, before I do that, I thought would just make it one real quick thing, a reminder that what we got coming up tomorrow could be on the air tomorrow sometime. Let's see. Don't know when, because we're going to be going to church. Actually, we'll be going to church tomorrow. Short service. I'm going to be help recording the service, which I'm not going to go off the air. I got about 6 more minutes. I'm going to leave that 6 minutes going here because I don't have nothing after me anyway. So we'll just kind of stay on for the extra 6 more minutes. But I wanted to make a point here that you want to check out some of the great programs coming up on GJRB. Yeah, why don't we do that? Yeah, because we got some good ones here at Spreaker. And I got a podcast that we just had on before I came on. Is our good friend Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative. Now, he has some great podcasts throughout the week, short ones with some great commentary. He does videos if you want to follow him on Facebook. But he has a good show every Tuesday night right here on Spreaker at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, right here on Spreaker. You can check out the Caramel Conservative live. Check him out. The Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative. If it's on a good program, you want to listen to that. He's got great commentary. He tells it like it is, man. He's not afraid to say it. So tune in 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Join him in the chat room. It's always fabulous. He always has a great show. And then Mike Myers, 7 mornings a week, 365 days a year. This man's a busy man, but he puts on a good show every morning at 8 o'clock a.m. on the Radio Hope Network. The Mike Myers Show. Tune in live every morning, 8 o'clock a.m. right here on Spreaker. So check out some of those great programs right here on Spreaker. That's Spreaker, Spreaker, and broadcast to the world. And that's going to do it for our show for tonight. Want to thank everyone for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow. Don't know what time. Watch for postings on the GJRB Spreaker public site. I'll have an audio posting, let you know we're on the air within an hour, about an hour and 45 minutes before airtime. I will post. And we're going to have a special gospel message, something, because we, through all this, we need Jesus Christ, because he's the one. If no other politician, it could, not even Trump can trump out the Lord Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for us, who has saved us, and we need to have giant faith in him, that he's the one that's going to get us out of this virus situation. He heals, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So I hope you'll tune in. And then later on, I'll have the Positive Rock Show, Christian rock at its best, new emerging artists such as Demon Hunter and a lot of other great podcasts. I like that group. And other group Christian rock bands like Skillet, and we go into all those. We play all the heavy Christian rock, as well as some of the more popular Christian bands, Casting Crowns, and all that. So the Positive Rock Show tomorrow night, right here on Spreaker. Remember, there is no church service upload this week because of the fact that we were not there last week. So we will have a new posting next week for the church services. But we will have a Positive Rock Show next week. Don't know what we're doing yet. Next week actually is our spontaneous week. That means you never know when we're going to be on the air. Okay, spontaneous week means that the whole week, watch for postings, because we could be on whatever, whenever. And what I mean by that is, whatever, whenever, you never know when we're going to be on the air. So you have to watch for postings on the GJRB Spreaker public site. Okay? And I will post an audio that we're going to be on the air within an hour to within 45 minutes before airtime. And you can catch our program, okay? So you catch our broadcast. And then next month, I got some scheduled programs, and I'll be talking about that coming up. I'll record another short podcast, and we'll go on the air real shortly for some 15 minutes of program schedules. So that's coming up next, a program schedule update. Podcast schedule update coming up next real quick. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up next here on the GJRB Online Network. I'm Gary J. Russen. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the program today. I want to thank San Delgado for being in the chat room, and Ben calling us. It's been a fabulous, actually I called him. But have a fabulous day. Have a best night ever. Stay tuned now for a short schedule update. I'll see you later. This is the GJRB Online Network.